Did it actually work? Nobody's here though, so that's not great. Let's see if this is actually working. Oh my gosh. All right, I hate Ecamm. I hate it. It's friggin' hate this service. Let's see. Just quit the Ecamm. It's not doing anything. Well, everything that I had, now Ecamm won't even turn off. Okay. Nobody cares, Ecamm. Just quit this. Sorry, guys. I'm pretty flustered here. I had a huge thing like all set up, and it's not working. So now I got to kind of go through. What's up, dude? Because I just posted it didn't work. So we're trying. I'll see if I can try and get people on here real quick. So just bear with me. Talks amongst yourselves. I had all of this stuff like planned out for what I wanted to share through the live, but I don't think I can now. Well, maybe I can. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I can still use my black magic and switch cameras. So we're going to be talking. Let me deal with this real quick, and then we'll jump into the live. Sound good? But watch the live here. I'm just... As you can tell, I'm pretty rusty. It's been a long time since I've gone live, but we're throwing that up there. I've never streamed from YouTube itself, so unfortunately, I can't show the comments because that's the whole point of Ecamm, is so you can make it more fun and more interactive and whatnot. But let me go to my notes, and we're going to kind of go over some of the things that I wanted to cover. If this is really short, so be it. I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be really short. And now none of my notes are working. Okay. Listen, nothing I had planned is going to plan. God. So thanks, Raph. I appreciate it. So that's a win. You look and sound great. Here's my camera, but everything I have to look at is over here. So if you see me looking over here, just know that I'm looking at the computer, looking at my notes here. This has been the first time streaming in almost 10 months. So I'm super rusty, and I apologize. And all of this is a little bit overwhelming. Live streaming is not easy. Good God, there's so much equipment right now, and almost none of it is working. Go technology. Things that I wanted to talk about, first of all, are some things that I'm adding to YouTube to make things a little easier to communicate with me, but also just provide you a little more value. So YouTube memberships has been a thing for a really long time, and I've avoided it for a really long time because I've just not felt like I could add the value. I didn't want to just throw up like a paywall for the sake of throwing up a paywall and making some money. But for the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to iron out what that offer would be, because I definitely think I could add some value. And given how this has gone, I don't want to share right now, because it just, the time and place is wrong. But just know that I'm going to be doing a membership with some pretty cool perks, one of which will be a contest, one of which will be a very exclusive thing to just the members that will happen once a month. And it'll be a way that you can communicate with me more directly rather than having to leave me questions on videos and trying to get a hold of me on Instagram. So it'll be a way to communicate with me directly, much more personally, hopefully make it a lot of fun. This is something that I'm going to add into the Super Secret Club, which is the private Whoop community I have, which is growing at a crazy rate right now, man. It's like a year and a half ago, we were at like 50 members, and now we're, I think, a little over 300, which is pretty cool. So the Super Secret Club, like I said, is the private Whoop community. If you have a Whoop, you can go in there. You can see people's stats. You can see how you measure up to everybody else in a whole bunch of different niches. And there's like a messaging service. It's almost like a mini Discord. Matthew's like, Discord? No, it's not going to be a Discord. I just like, I don't want to spread myself too thin. I want to keep everything as on YouTube as much as possible because this is where I'm at. And so I don't want to make people leave YouTube to then get a hold of me. So I'm going to try to do it just here on YouTube. But yes, the Super Secret Club is the only other place. Let's see. I wanted to share with you guys my absolute favorite newsletter right now. And I've talked about him many times. One, because he is a friend. Two, he does absolutely brilliant work. His name is Michael Easter. He wrote The Comfort Crisis. If you've never read that book, holy crap, it'll change your life. It is such a good book. Please go check it out. He just came out with his next book called Scarcity Brain. And what was really cool is I got Michael to share some of that book with us almost a year ago on a video I did on minimalism. So you can actually kind of hear a snippet of that through minimalism. But anyway, Michael has a newsletter called the 2% newsletter. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, he comes out with a new email. And what sets Michael apart from so many other people is he's a journalist. He's got a journalistic mind, but he dives heavy into research. But what really sets him apart is his storytelling. He is so good at telling stories and how to make those stories very relatable to your own well-being. So this newsletter is all of his abilities, but more practical application of like health and fitness. And so you can see it right here. Is it upside down? Why on earth is this upside down? I'm going to lose my shiz. I have no idea what to do now at this point. It's upside. Oh, it's just mirrored. It's not upside down. It's just backwards. Can you guys see this okay? Does it look okay to you since you can hear me? Please give me a thumbs up. There's no way to like communicate here. Okay. All right. Jeez. I was like, what the heck? Anyway, this is Michael's newsletter called the 2% newsletter. Burn the Ships November edition. So you can kind of get an idea of why he calls it Burn the Ships. So when you want, there's a upgrade path that you can get. The first two, like Monday and Wednesday are free, but the Friday workout that he gives you, that's paid for. But there is so much good stuff. Like here, he talks about the case for one tough weekly workout. And this was inspired by his training at Jim Jones, which is a very famous gym. Jim Jones is here in Salt Lake. They trained Henry Cavill for Superman. They really got famous because they trained the 300 for the movie, the 300. All those super jack dudes that were trained at Jim Jones. I was lucky enough to train at Jim Jones. I got invited to train there. It was a invite only type of thing. My wife used to train at Jim Jones. That's kind of how we got to meet. But Michael trained at Jim Jones and learned this killer exercise, basically Mind F Monday, where you just shut off your, or Mind F Friday, FU Friday, I think is what they call it. I don't like swear on here, but it's called an FU Friday. And they just do once a week, they go insanely hard. And here in the newsletter, he goes over why it is really good for you to do a very, very hard, intense workout once a week. He talks about why he calls it burn the ships, how it works. And it's always got a name. They're always fun. They're super intense, but they're safe. You're not doing anything that's going to get you hurt. You're just doing things to an extent that you probably never would. And why that's so good for not just your physical health, but your mental health and your soul. So he does some really cool stuff. Album I'm listening to while he's working out, Sturgill Simpson. That's a great album, by the way. Sounded very. So I highly recommend checking out Michael Easter's newsletter. It's worth it. Definitely dive into it. He's brilliant. So can't get enough Michael Easter. I'm going to pull up a video of a podcast that I listened to that I wanted to share with you guys. Not the podcast, but a podcast I really think you need to watch. Let's see. Huberman Galpin. Let's see if I can find it this way. So it is a combination. Dr. Andrew Huberman, you've definitely seen him. I mean, he blew up over the last year and a half. He's everywhere. Super smart dude, but he's interviewing one of the smartest people on the planet when it comes to muscle, all things muscle, building muscle, nutrients for muscle, how muscle action works, all sorts of stuff. His name is Dr. Andy Galpin. I believe he runs the lab in Stanford or Northern California, Santa, I can't remember. Anyway, Dr. Andy Galpin also has an awesome book called Unplugged, and it's a book I would highly recommend. But anyway, this podcast, if you can listen to the whole thing, this one builds strength and stamina, 3 hours and 31 minutes. All 3 hours and 31 minutes, you can see right there in the middle, is jam-packed with excellent information. So if you want to know the most basic to the most high-level stuff about how your muscle works and how to build the most of it, how to get stronger, how to build stamina, I listened to that. I got about halfway through the first half yesterday, and there were so many good things. It gave me some great ideas for some of the videos that we have coming up. So I'm really excited. Let me type something into the chat real quick. Target by all right, let's see. Where are my notes? Human. Okay, next item of business. If you've followed me for a while, you have probably seen me do a video or two on Whoop. That's because I've been a member now for 4 years, since November of 2019. I've done more videos on Whoop than anything else on my channel. That's definitely how the channel has grown. There's quite a few videos that have over 100,000 views because they're Whoop. I think for a while they had more views than the Whoop channel did. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of Whoop. I think it's the best wearable out of everything for just about everybody, depending on the niche that you're using. You know, if you're an ultra marathoner or somebody that does some really intense outdoor activity, it's probably not the best wearable for that activity, but it's still probably the best wearable for you when you're not doing that activity. I love Whoop, and I am stoked to announce that I have partnered with Whoop. And I don't know how long it's going to go for, but essentially I'm really happy because I get to make content for them. I think it's kind of like a pat on the back. I think it speaks loads about how far the channel's come with production value, which is really cool. And then once a month, I do a small little sponsorship integration on my own channel. So you'll see that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was sponsored videos and how those all work. I don't do any paid reviews, but somebody was asking me about the last video because I did a walkthrough for the app Eclipse Yourself. Awesome freaking app if you're on the Apple Watch and the Apple Health side of things. That was a sponsored video. They paid me, but I didn't review it. What I did was I did a huge walkthrough of the app. It's almost like, I think it's like 26 minutes of me going through the app. So when you see a video on my channel, unless it says paid partnership at the top, and I say this is a sponsored video, it's not a sponsored video. Do I take products to review in lieu of that? Yes, I've done it a few times. And how that works, you might think this is a little sketchy. It's not sketchy. It's just selfish. Is I'm not going to take anything that I can't immediately go out and buy myself. And the reason is sponsored. I've got a couple of buddies in here. Pretty much all these comments are coming from other YouTubers that are my friends. They know, like, sponsored videos just don't do well on your channel, and they kind of hurt your channel because, one, like, if you come out and you're like, yeah, I took this product and I'm doing it and I agreed to do a review, whatever, people just like find that kind of gross and they don't really trust you anyway, regardless of the outcome, even if you're being truthful. So it kind of hurts the channel to do things like that. So the reason I say I'm not going to do a product review unless it's something I can't go buy myself, like that ice bath, is because if I could, then I would just buy it. And then there's no downside. I can say whatever I want, and there's not going to be any bias, right? So it's better for me. It's better for you. It's better for the channel if I just do that. But there are some things like that ice bath I really, really wanted. And I reached out to them and I was like, hey, if you send this to me, I can make some content on it. And that's because it was like $6,000. There's no way I can afford that. But of course, I'm going to leverage myself to get something like that and then make great content for you guys. So I just wanted you to be aware of like how I do things on this channel. All right. So diving into the main topics today, I really wanted to talk about wearables. And this kind of started we just finished Techtober, but a video of mine has been doing really well, weirdly. And it's called Disconnected. And it was kind of like my Apple Watch Ultra review. You know, I did that huge road trip, and ideally I had this video in my mind where I just wanted to do a very cinematic video on using an Apple Watch. And it didn't really work out that way, but for some reason or another, it's kind of taken off right now. And I'm getting a ton of questions on wearables. And so that's kind of the impetus of this live. I thought it would be a lot of fun to just interact with people and answer questions. So before I get too far, I think I have some. Why don't I answer them real quick? Let's go. I've got Matthew O'Brien, Raphael, and Dylan Bates in here. 3 of the best video editors you can find on this planet. And 3 of the best dudes I've ever known. Let's see. Dylan Bates, the Final Cut Bro. What is the biggest thing that keeps you locked into using Whoop? That's a great question. There are a couple of things. I will say number 1, it is hands off. So if you go to another wearable like an Apple Watch Ultra and you want to do an activity, you have to, I wish I could show you. It's probably not gonna work here. But essentially, I gotta start an activity, right? I gotta figure out which activity I want to do. And then when I'm done, I gotta end that activity for it to work. That's cool, but that's also super lame. Whoop just knows. It knows when you've started an activity. It knows when you've stopped an activity. Not only that, it knows what activity you did. And you might think, well, big Whoop. Well, I've had it differentiate between wrestling and jiu-jitsu, even though both were a jiu-jitsu class. The wrestling one, all we did were shots, like takedowns, and it knew the difference. And it could automatically plot all of that. Everything is hands off. I don't have to look at it until the next morning when I wake up. I'm like, oh, here's my recovery. This is my strain. It does all of that on its own. That's a huge one for me. Number 2, is I don't have to just wear it on my wrist. I can wear it on my bicep. I can wear it on my hip. I can wear it on my shoulder. I can wear it with jujitsu. It's the only one that I can for jujitsu. You could wear it on your calf with some training pants. So there's accessories that allow you to use it anywhere, and that means you can do so many more different types of activities. Like if you do a lot of kettlebells, like things on your wrist are like a no-go. And then I would say updates. They're constantly updating Whoop with new features. The last one, I was like, is an AI coach really that important? And then I started getting into it and I was like, hey, I'm starting to run. Could you help me make a 5K? And it was like, sure. What are your goals? Like, how fast do you want to run? It's like, holy crap. So I'd give it more information. And then it spit me out this super detailed training program. I could have gone on to Google and done that. But one, it wouldn't have been as personalized as mine was. And two, it would have taken me like 10 times as long. So those are the main reasons why I stick with Whoop. And they actually lowered their price. When everybody raised their price, they just lowered their price. That was a really long-winded explanation, but I hope you enjoyed it, Dylan. Thank you for the question. Let's see. And thank you, sir. Yes, the partnership with Whoop was big. Let's see. Whoa. Sonoma, you're killing me here. Raphael, I agree. Sponsored video. I'm just kind of going through the comments here because I kind of went off on a real long-winded explanation as per usual, and I didn't get to some of these comments. Raph says, I agree. Sponsored videos are low performers, and the offer is almost always only to benefit the sponsor, so not worth it. Yeah, Raph, I know you guys will find this funny because, again, you're also YouTubers. The other day, I got offered $100 for a 30-minute video if that 30-minute video did 30,000 views. Matthew, that video is so good. I know you're talking about the disconnected video. I saw your comment. Thank you so much. I think all of you guys watched it, and I really appreciate it. Let's see. Jan Smir. One device to rule them all. Whoop, Garmin, or Apple Watch. Okay, I know it's taken me a little bit to get to the question. It's a great question, but it's not that easy to answer. So I need to know, what are your priorities? What are your goals? And what things are most important to you? I would say Whoop is the best all-arounder. It's going to do the most stuff hands-off. Garmin, if you're serious about running, endurance, or outdoor hiking stuff, that's the best one of the lot for that activity, but it's not great outside of that activity. And then the Apple Watch Ultra, right, is like a supercomputer on your wrist. So let me know what your priorities are, and I can help you out a little bit better with that. Well, that's pretty nuts. I can tell the difference. Yes, Dylan. The other thing about Whoop is it is constantly, so people ask me all the time about like the Apple Watch Ultra and if it's accurate. It's super accurate. The sensors are probably the best sensors you can buy. However, it comes down to how often is that thing taking data. So even though the sensors in the Whoop are great, they're very good, gold standard, they're not as good as the Apple Watch Ultra. It takes way more data. The Apple Watch takes a reading every 5 minutes, once every 5 minutes, if you're not doing activity. If you're doing activity, it averages out to around like 12 or 13 times a minute, all right? So 12 to 13 times a minute at the most. The Whoop takes a reading every millisecond, so 1,000 readings a minute. Every minute of every day, it's taking data. And so the longer you use Whoop, the better it gets. It gets, the way it knows me, that's when people are like, compare this to this. It's not just this linear plane. Like the more I use Whoop, the more the more accurate it gets, the better it knows me. So whenever I compare something to it, it's always going to lose. Like they're never on an equal playing field, if that makes sense. So it's like the longer I stick with it, the better it gets. Well, why not keep sticking with it? Let's see. Yeah, you're live. It's Reach. What's up, buddy? How's it going, Jeff? Dude, freaking Ecamm Live. I hate that service. It blows. Thank God I got it like on a really good deal for Black Friday last year. This is the first time I've used it. Let's see. That's the best offer I've ever heard. Yeah, that one was crazy. They are crazy. Marlon, welcome. Everybody should let me know where they're coming from because I'm seeing some very familiar faces and some people I'm seeing for the first time. So I'd love to get to know you more. Where are you from? And then if you have a question, just capital Q : that way it's easier for me to spot because sometimes catching a question in all the comments is kind of tough, but that's what we're here to do today is to answer your questions. And if I can't answer it, I will say I don't know. And I will try to point you in the direction of somebody that will. Let's see. Oh, man, I'd love to watch now, but I got to cycle home from work. Yeah, don't die, bro. Get home safely. Then you can always watch the replay. Matthew, question, is Fitbit still a thing? Are they even a contender in the wearable space? Matthew, believe it or not, they are still a thing. And the last Fitbit, I think it was the 5, was actually a pretty good deal. It did a lot of things for a very competitive price. I think the one I was looking at was right around $100. I tried the one with the screen. Was it the chart? It was the most expensive one, and I did not like it. It sucked. The interface blew. But then they had another one that was like half that price, and it was actually quite good. So yes, Fitbit is still a thing. I would definitely consider them a contender in the wearable space. However, if you've got an Apple Watch, the Apple Watch is way better. With the amount of third-party apps you can get for the Apple Watch, like Eclipse Yourself, it blows all of those out of the water. Best wearable that track workout strain. So it depends on the kind of workout that you're doing. Again, Whoop for me is probably the best, and now it's the first one to actually measure muscular strain. Everybody else just measures cardiovascular strain, right? Like how much your heart and your lungs are working. But Whoop is now measuring muscular strain. The only problem is it is in its infancy, and it is very tedious to use during a workout. I don't think it's going to get any better until they update the hardware. However, I believe a hardware update is coming in the spring of next year. I don't have any insider information. That's just a guess when I look at their release history. And I think the current Whoop is kind of tapped out. We might get a few more very minor updates, but I think when we get the new hardware, we could see some huge improvements. Let's see. So, yeah, Apple Watch Ultra has the best sensors, but again, it comes down to like how often it's tracking. It's just not tracking very often. But with Eclipse Yourself, it's great. And also the term best, when you say best wearable that track workout strain, like best it's almost always an impossible task to quantify what best is because best can mean so many different things. So let me know maybe in some more detail. Dylan, what's the Whoop battery life like? 3 to 4 days. What's really cool about the battery, sorry, I don't have it on me, is you never have to take this off. The battery actually just slips on top and charges and is waterproof. And so when you're done, you take it off. So you don't actually have to take it off, find a charger, and put it on there. The battery is the charger. Slip the battery on, and you're good to go, man. Let's see. I can show you what it looks like. Uno momento. That's the easiest thing, I think. Accessories. Let's go to batteries. Whoop tag. What's that? Oh, I guess they got some new battery. Here you go, Dylan. So these are the Oh, I like that see-through. That's cool. Why haven't I seen that before? These are the batteries. So they literally just slip on. Can I tap this? No. All right. There's just pictures. But essentially the battery slips on, Dylan, and charges your Whoop from the battery. Then you just take the battery off. It's USB-C and it's waterproof. So you can charge and walk into your shower and everything's copacetic. But about 3 to 4 days. Let's see. Southern Oregon. That's right, buddy. PNW. You have some amazing content. Does Whoop track muscular load? Yes, I think I just answered that, and thank you for the compliment. Sierra Nevada, nice. From New Jersey, Muay Thai life. Man, you guys are brutal. Don't mess with people that do Muay Thai. Their shins are baseball bats. You don't need to get a head kick from one of those guys. What did Crow Cop say? Even though it wasn't Muay Thai, it was like right leg hospital, left leg cemetery. Let's see. New Jersey, I played in Belmar once. It was a crazy, crazy tournament for beach volleyball. Always use your content. Let's see. Always use your content to guide me through the next best thing. Thanks for all the content reviews. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Marlon, stoked you're here, man. So great to see you streaming, brother. Hit us up in the Discord if you need any help with Ecamm. Got to bounce. Matthew, thanks so much. I appreciate it, buddy. I'm definitely going to hit you guys up about Ecamm because it definitely has the most potential, but right now it's just freaking frustrating. Arturo, do you think Whoop is still accurate when you use it on a tattoo? You're in Mexico. You love the content. Thanks, man. Yeah, so all optical sensors are going to run into this problem with tattoos. So it's not just Whoop. Any wearable that has an optical sensor that's got to go through ink, it's just not going to be as accurate. I think in a few years they're going to figure out a way around it, but as of right now, that's kind of like a limiting factor. I feel like I did, Jans. Whoops, I'm coming back up here. Whoop sleep stages seem crazy in my experience where I get like 2.5 hours REM compared to Apple Watch at 1.5. It seems like Apple Watch is more accurate in deep sleep. I mean, it could be. The thing you got to like realize is like none of these are the most accurate things in the world. Both of them are gold standard tested by third parties. So you really can't go wrong with either. One thing I've learned about Whoop for me is it always represents how I feel more accurately than any other wearable. And I think that's way more important than people realize. So you should always go with the one that feels more accurate to you. Let's see. Jans, going back down. How do you feel apps like Athletic compare to Whoop? Have you seen or tried? You know what? I think the owner of Athletic is super cool dude, and he's made a great app. However, I just mentioned this. It never matched how I felt. It was just always off. Like Whoop, I'd be, like 65, 70%. Sleep was really accurate for me. And the Athletic would be like, you're at a 98. I'm like, no, it's kind of the same thing. Like, we have an 8 sleep and the bed will track your sleep. And it always tells me I'm getting like 99s or 100s. And that's just complete bullshit because I never sleep more than like 6 hours, 6.5 hours. My sleep, if you go through my Whoop, like in the 4 years that I've had Whoop, you could maybe count on one hand the amount of times I've had a sleep performance over 70%. I'm not a sleeper. My brain goes crazy in the middle of the night. I always wake up with ideas like, oh my God. And I'm just not like a super deep, restful sleeper. And so for me, Athletic was the same way. And so I just don't use it because it just never really matched up to how I felt. And it just didn't look accurate to me. Have you seen or tried the new Superset Health Beta? No, I haven't, but I definitely will now. Superset Health Beta. Let's see. Dylan Bates. That's such a great concept. That's my biggest frustration with my Apple Watch. I hate when I forget to charge and I can't track whatever I'm doing. Yeah. Having a charger that just slides on is so cool. Let's be honest. It's pretty rad. Holy crap, I got through the questions. Nice work. Well, when you guys continue to have questions, let me know. But anyway, Marlon, let's see. Whoop has that PDF you get of your assessment for either the week or the month. Yeah. So can I access Whoop on my iPad? And if I can, then I'll show you. God damn it, do I really need to do this? No, that's the wrong account. Let's see if I can change it. Log in. We're trying on the iPad. That way I can actually show you guys. All right, we can. Here is Whoop. All right. Now, what Marlon is talking about, he's saying you get an assessment for either the week or the month, which is really cool. You can export it because it is kind of tiny and you can look at it bigger. But how you do that is you see down here at the bottom where it says coaching. I'm going to click on coaching. See, here's my sleep right there. You can see I woke up at 4:50. I go to bed. It's telling me my sleep is so bad I need to go to bed at 7 p.m. But I went to bed at 9:52. That's when I fell asleep. And I woke up at 4:50. My sleep always sucks. Anyway, down here at the bottom, you'll see performance assessments for October. October, probably the worst month of my 4 years being a Whoop member. But here's my monthly performance assessment. As you can see, very tiny. I can get a little bit bigger. Here's my training breakdown. You can see all of my red and yellow activities. And for October, good God, it was awful. Just awful. Last year, it was 56%. That was my recovery. I guess October is just bad for me always. 45 this year. Just felt like every day, every other day was like a red day or a yellow day. This, Dylan, is another reason why I think Whoop is probably the best, and that's training behaviors. So let's go in. Oh, just so you know, you can also see your weekly assessment. So you can go, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, here's my optimal performance, my strain, my sleep consistency. Here's my strain over the last week. Maybe I'm going a little too fast for you guys. Sleep performance, 74%. Oh my gosh. Check that out. That's huge for me. Wake up variability. Anyway, what was I going to show you? Your journal. Dylan, this is like, okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. If I hit this plus sign, I can go to my journal. Every morning when you wake up, you're going to be given a list that you can customize with all of these behaviors, all right? And I've got a lot. Eating close to bedtime, red light therapy, steam room, breath work. Did you have COVID-19 symptoms? Did you wear a nasal strip, etc.? You fill all these out, you hit save journal, and Whoop will track all of this data, and it will actually show you whether or not having caffeine, like 3 servings of caffeine a day, is affecting you or not. Eating close to bedtime is actually affecting you. No other wearable does this to this extent, not anywhere close. And I think it is really what Whoop, how Whoop separates itself from everything else, because you can see very plainly what behaviors are really contributing to your health and fitness. So that is a major reason why you should get one. Honestly, if you bought a Whoop and used it as a self-experiment for like 6 months, you could learn so much about yourself, and then just like, you're like, I'm done, cancel the service. You probably won't, but you could. Let's see. Jans, thanks, Brandon. Badass channel. Love your content. Thank you. I'm stoked you enjoy it. It's been a long time since I've had fun with YouTube. It's been like a year and a half since I felt like YouTube was worth working hard on, and it is right now, and I'm stoked, and I just want to make content for you guys that you really find valuable. So it's good to hear that you are. They have the personal browser option where you can pull up your metrics in a better view. I forgot the link, but yeah, you can do that on the desktop. Absolutely crazy it can gather this much info with such a tiny band. Yeah, very powerful. Michael, how's it going? Found your content and it got me into getting a Whoop, and I love it. Sweet. I'm 2 weeks in and still in the Whoop learning phase, but it has finally gotten me back into the gym to make myself better. That's awesome. Remember, there's a 28-day like break-in period. That's the amount of time it takes for Whoop to gather enough information that it stops comparing your metrics to everybody else and starts just comparing you to you, which is really important. So a lot of your strain, recovery, and sleep can be a little weird for those first 28 days. You're like, this isn't accurate. And that's just because it's taking a while to get to that point. Bum, bum, bum. All right, let's see. Where's YouTube? Uno momento. Where is my channel? View channel. All right, so videos. If you want like a long-term review, I've done a few of them, but this one is Whoop Worth It long-term review. It's a good video. Check that out. A lot has changed since that video has come out, just FYI. But I also wanted to share with you this video. So it has it all. Eclipse Yourself, this one in the top left. If you've got an Apple Watch and you want to stick with that and you want like the most robust tracking app you can possibly get, it is that one, Eclipse Yourself. Below that is the video that kind of started this whole thing. It's called Disconnect. It's the real reason you should buy an Apple Watch Ultra. And the reason I made that video and the reason I believe the Apple Watch Ultra is so great actually has nothing to do with like tracking or fitness at all. It's because it is the thing that has gotten rid of this for me. In that video, I mentioned that I'm very much addicted to my phone, and not like in a coy way or a cute way, but in an actual like really bad negative connotation way. The amount of time I spend on my phone is gross, and there's so many aspects of your phone, like when it comes to social media, that's just like awful for you. It just ruins your life. Being in social media, YouTube and Instagram, like that's my business. All you're presented with all day long is like how much you suck compared to everybody else. And that's not good for you. And so what you're constantly trying to do is upload things to social media to make yourself look better and then get you those little teeny tiny dopamine hits. And dopamine is the reason I'm addicted and the reason why so many people are addicted to their phone. What does that have to do with the Apple Watch? The Apple Watch is really cool because it allows me to stay connected to the people I want to stay connected to in the ways I want to stay connected to them. There is no social media on this. Plus, I mean, like the screen is so small. Why would you want to like scroll social media on your watch? And responding to people is really tough, but I can still make calls and send texts if I want to. And that's very freeing. I can do everything from this. If I really wanted to, and I have before, like last year, I left this home and we went on a family vacation. And then my wife freaked out. She was like, "You left your phone at home?" And I did everything from my Apple Watch Ultra. You can put your credit cards on here, make payments for gas, buy groceries, call people, text. But then you don't have this in your face telling you you suck. So anyway, if there was any wearable I was going to get besides the Whoop, it would be the Apple Watch Ultra, and it would be for that reason. How long have we gone for? 43:22. Wow, that's a long time. How are we doing? Are you guys liking it? If so, hit the like button. And if you've got questions, let me know. I wonder if anybody saw this thing that I was like, hey, I actually got the live to work. Probably not. That's okay. Love this setup. Thanks, man. Anthony. You look familiar, Anthony. I wish I could look up your channel. I don't know why. I feel like what is going on right now? That's the live. I don't want to go to my live. I want to go to. Oh, I can't. I'll have to look it up later. But anyway, your profile photo looks very, very familiar. Like, are you also on YouTube? Do you think you'll be interested in the Apple Vision Pro when it comes out? Oh, that was the other reason I put this in there. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was the future of fitness. The future of fitness. I strongly believe the future of fitness is more along these lines. Just because of the way technology is going, and I did a video on this that didn't go anywhere, and I think I'm going to redo it because I really do think the future of fitness is almost with like a Quest with AR goggles. Because I think one, a lot of people that aren't serious gym goers but want to get more fit are having a harder and harder time going outside for accessibility reasons. But I've said this many times, anytime you can gamify your fitness, you're going to be more fit. You're going to do it more often. You're going to do it for longer. You're going to see those results faster. If you've ever stuck on an Oculus Quest 2 and played like the Rocky boxing game, you're going to burn like 1,000 calories and you won't even know it. You'll take them off and you'll be like, holy shit, I did this for an hour and a half. I burned 1,000 calories. It is so much fun. Like, I'm doing a tremendous amount of cardio and not even thinking about it. And you can do it with that game, with Beat Saber, with a ton of games. I really think that in another few years, these are going to start taking over for people's home gyms. I would seriously think that maybe even a community way fitness classes with these are going to explode. Just all around people gaming more for their fitness is going to be a huge thing. And it's not like gaming where you're sitting like this, like you're being extremely active. If you want to go watch that video, I guess I can pull it up. Let's see. It's right here. So that one that says Meta, the best home gym, is actually an Oculus Quest 2. You can, if you watch that video, you'll see how much fun I'm having, how much I'm sweating with very little work. That is like the most fun ever. So when you ask me about the vision, I'm excited for Apple's version, but I don't see it being like that because I think it's more for like entertainment and work purposes rather than what that thing is. But the technology in it is pretty mind-blowing. I don't think I'll get one because I'm not that kind of channel. Like for you guys, you probably should get one. Dylan and Raph, Matthew, like that's like right up your alley, I think. And so even though it's like $3,000, $3,500, the amount of content you could make with it is probably going to get your money back. So anyway, if you don't have one of those though, and you want to have like the most fun working out ever, that, and then also, did you guys ever play Rock Band? Like Rock Band on the drums was absolutely insane. I legitimately did it for cardio for like an entire year. I was like, this is my cardio. And I just played the drums on Rock Band. I heard they're bringing it back and I'm super excited for that. Like I'm a little kid with Rock Band and the drums. Let's see. Joel, thoughts on the new circular ring? Here are my thoughts on all of the rings. I just don't really care for them. They are so fit specific that they become really limiting. And here are some things that people just don't really think about when they think about, yeah, they're elegant and it's cool. You put it on your ring, you don't have anything on the wrist, but one, your phalanges are pretty susceptible to injury and swelling. You jack a knuckle and you get a hammer knuckle, well, shit, that ring is never fitting the same ever again. And fit is paramount to how accurate that wearable is, right? If you have a loose Whoop or a loose Apple Watch Ultra, it's not going to give you as accurate as if it was properly fitted. With rings, even more so. And your extremities swell and decrease in swelling with temperature shifts, right? If I go for a hike for a really long time, my hands swell. Well, all of a sudden, it's like stuck. It's hard to get off. Temperatures at your hands change far more often than they do like getting more proximal to your heart. And so I'm just not a huge fan of the rings. You're not even supposed to wear them when you're weight training, like all of them, because they can like pinch, they can injure you. And so for me, I would rather wear a ring for like personal information, like Apple Pay, stuff like that, than fitness, truthfully. I don't really know too much about the circular ring, but almost everybody I know that gets it, like one, and I think Aura Ring just kind of like really burned me. So not burned me, but they left such a bad taste in my mouth that I just like all of them kind of suck. If it were me, I think there's a lot better routes that you can go, Joel, other than the circular ring or any ring that does wearable stuff. Just FYI, if you want to like leave me like your goals and like what you're trying to accomplish or why you're thinking about going the circular ring or a different ring, like yeah, sure, we can talk about it. Anthony, are you using the red for this? And I am. Anthony, I feel like God. Why can't I'm gonna look you up after this? Like for some reason, like I can't click on you right now and like go check out your page, or I totally. Well, I guess I can just do it on Anthony. Yeah, I'm about to stalk Anthony, people. This is how it starts. Anthony Hadley Jr. Oh, to answer your question, I am not using the red right now. There you are. Where are your videos? Oh, yeah. We talked about the Komodo. That's right. I am not using my KX for this. Mostly because it's SDI and just converting SDI to HDMI, that's just a pain in the butt. I'm using my R5C for this. It was just the easiest thing. But I kind of want to get something with full-size HDMI to make it just a little easier. Maybe a 6K G2, I don't know. But that seems stupid considering how much crap I already have. Like, that's me being an absolute twat. Chase Attaway, what's up, Uncle Logan? Chase, I hope you're doing well, buddy. I know you're out in Florida. Hopefully you're just crushing it. I love using my Quest for workouts. I usually get a better workout at the gym, but I'm so much. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's so much easier to throw on a Quest and be guided through and do some super fun activity. True, you're not going to get the same benefits like connective tissue and skeletal muscle improvements that you would from lifting at a gym. But I see no reason why not to do both. And I really want to do like a crazy fun video on this because I think there's so much potential with this in the health and fitness industry. Especially if they get the size down to a pair of glasses. Yeah, man, like if we're eventually going to get there. I love movies because movies are literally just like, it's going to happen. They're reality, but not reality now. They're reality maybe in like 10 or 15 years. Like all that shit we see on Ready Player One, that's going to happen for sure. Yes, I love him. Chase also loves this Quest. I burned 800 calories when playing Beat Saber. This is what I'm talking about. Like 800 calories is a lot. If I went and I did the stationary bike for an hour, I'm not going to get, I might approach 800 calories, but I bet doing Beat Saber, you could do that in half the time. That's what I'm talking about. And the stationary bike for an hour is like just punch me in the eye. Like it sucks, but Beat Saber for an hour, that's a good day. Let's see. Dylan Bates, I'll sell a few kidneys and get a mortgage to buy one. You know, like the idea of the Apple Vision Quest for me to just like, you know, turn around and like throw up an imaginary projector on this big ass wall and watch Ready Player One, that might be worth it. That might be worth it. Vision Pro will definitely have a Fitness Plus component. If it does, because I haven't seen anything on it. I'm not saying it doesn't. I personally haven't seen it. So Raph, if you got a link, let me know. But if it does, then maybe I'd consider buying one and then do like a comparison of those two. Maybe that's the route to go. Claudio. Okay. Did I miss a comment from you, Claudio? Maybe okay is just Claudio's like really subdued way of saying like, let's go. I'm gonna positive thoughts here. Joel, good points. Thanks. For sure, man. And if you've got any more questions, let me know. Good old live stocking. Yeah. Anthony's got a great channel. He did, where is his he did like a red Komodo rig build that I just loved. He's just got a super clean look. Everything is like, not to compare him to anybody, but it's like a MKBHD bright, clean look. And I think that always looks good. I'm always like dark, moody, and cold and uninviting. But that's me. Let's see, bro. I'm probably getting a 6K. Guys, you know how easy it is for me to like talk cameras, but this isn't a camera channel. I will entertain it for a little bit, but we can't like hijack a stream. All of us camera nerds talking about cameras. But that was the easiest camera I've ever used for live streaming. Like hands down, like the Blackmagic, you sit it on there, scroll over, live. That was easy. Like, yeah, it's the best camera for live streaming. If anybody's used the Quest for fitness, besides Beat Saber, besides the Rocky boxing game, if you've got any suggestions, let me know, because I'm going to start. It's been so long since I've recorded video on that thing. I've got to remember it. But one of the things that was really cool about that is you could record the video that you were seeing. So I did some side-by-sides, and it was a lot of fun. And I know I'm going to have to do it again. But maybe I'll do it this winter because, you know, in the winter, most people are staying inside. They're not going outside for fitness. And I would love to throw them a bone of like when they can't get into their gym for whatever reason, like, hey, play the Oculus Quest 2, play these games. And that will be like the best day you've ever had. Dylan, I've been playing Dungeons of Eternity. It's not at all fitness, but when you get into the heat of battle, I'm definitely feeling it after. Dylan, please tell me that you're like wielding some massive sword, some massive virtual augmented reality sword. It's like my arms have been super sore too. So that is kind of the problem with some of these things, like the way you're punching and the way you're throwing things. You're basically like dry firing a bow each time with your shoulder. Like it's not great. Like one of the drills we do with pitchers so that they can throw hard without throwing a baseball as they hold onto a towel. And just that little bit of resistance is better on their shoulder than nothing. So if you've got like an imaginary sword and you're just doing this, like, yeah, your shoulder's going to be dead. Let's see. 2 of those bad boys. Oh gosh. Yeah. All right. So you're dual wielding swords, huh? Dual wielding. What is it? Was it GoldenEye when you could dual wield the those shitty fully automatic pistol looking things? I love the tracking of the Apple Watch sleep workout. Cals Plus reminder is really helpful. It's, man, the Apple Watch Ultra is so good, or the Apple Watch. The app that I'm probably enjoying the most when it comes to just a workout is the Nike Run Club app. Like I'm starting to get into running. It's becoming more and more popular on YouTube for whatever reason. It seems like a lot of creators are starting to do it. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I really need to improve my cardiovascular efficiency. But the Nike Run Club app is just so simple and just so inviting. I really, really like using that app to work out. Coincidentally, their Nike Training Club app. So for you, Raf, if you want to do different workouts other than running, also a great freaking app. And my buddy Ryan, our friend Ryan Flaherty, he is the head of Nike Training, which is a massive job. He trains Cristiano Ronaldo and Serena Williams. He basically does all the programming for that app. So if you want one of the best trainers in the entire world to give you training programs, you can do it through that app. which is really freaking cool. I don't know if any of you have been to Nike headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon, but it's pretty awesome. Let's see. We just hit 1 hour. After this whole thing was a basic giant shit show, fireball, somehow we pulled out an hour and have had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys were patient and stuck around with me and let me wade through some feelings of anger and aggression. I was ready to take this and throw it against the wall and then write a really furious email to the eCam people. But anyway, we are here. It's been an hour. It's 1:25. So why don't we do this? Let's go for another 5 minutes because I said this was going to be 90 minutes. If you've got more questions, send them my way. Guys, thanks for hitting the like button. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen that many likes on a live stream. And this one was pretty bad, technically. So thank you. If you haven't hit it, do it now, though. And then also go check out Anthony Hadley Jr. if you like cameras and you like to see really great production quality. I don't even think he's in here anymore, but go check it out and subscribe to him. So if you got a question, send it my way. Like I said, we'll do this for another 4-ish minutes, and then I got to bounce. Creative comment. I've seen you before. Welcome back, buddy. I appreciate all the comments in the videos. I really do. I see them. I'm one of those psychos that actually answers just about every single comment from every video. From the last video, the big video, the disconnect video, that's like 400 comments. So I see them. Tuning in from Space City. This little heart is in my way, AKA, gosh, who thought about putting that there? What designer botched that? But anyway, stoked to have you, man. How's Houston? It's slowly becoming the mecca of jiu-jitsu. Jonathan, hey, man. Good to have you. Do you have a recommendation for a workout program for camera nerds? Ha, ha, ha. I guess I didn't need to read that part. But here's the honest truth. Any program will work as long as you do it. So I would say, what are your goals and what are the things you hate doing? Like, what are the things you're just not going to do? Because I don't want to recommend you burpees if you're like, fuck burpees, I'm never going to do a burpee. Right? So I can very easily recommend you some fun stuff that will definitely work. Just let me know what you're trying to accomplish. Question. Thanks, Raph. Thanks for doing it the right way and setting the example for all these teens. I don't think there's any teens in here, but for anyone over 40, what are the tips for staying consistent with working out and avoiding injury? Well, there's a couple of things here. One, staying consistent. That's its own thing. I have been doing 2-a-days since I was 21. I go to the gym pretty much every day, twice a day. It is no longer motivation. It's just automatic, right? Discipline. I'm not saying you don't have discipline, but the other thing that helps me do that is I know that from 7 o'clock till 9:30, that is workout time. The whole thing isn't going to be a workout, but I've given myself some leeway between those hours to make it happen. That's because that's what works with my schedule and my family. And then again, at 3 p.m., that's the other chunk that opens up. If I miss 3 p.m., so be it, but I very rarely do I do that. So I've also made it a non-negotiable, whether that's on a road trip or a vacation, I will make sure I get a workout in. Now that I'm running, I have like zero excuses because you don't need anything to go run. You just grab your shoes and you go run and you get a good workout. But I also have like a gym in a bag, which is like a TRX, a suspension trainer, and then a system of bands That way all the excuses are taken out, because like normally when you go on vacations and road trips, you're like, that's like the last thing you're thinking about. But it just makes me feel better if I'm consistent and I'm working out. I schedule it, I make it non-negotiable, and then I just do it so much until it just becomes like kind of automatic. And maybe that's really simple, but I hope it helps. Unfortunately, it's one of the reasons why I got out of personal training. Like, it's fun on here, but one of the reasons I stopped personal training is, and I'm sure with every career, you're going to find a similarity in this. You're like sick of telling people like what to do and they just don't do it. And you're like, man, this is like really easy. But I also know it's not that easy. Anyway, I hope that helps. Now, when it comes to injury, mobility is, there's a difference between mobility and flexibility. Most people think when I say the word mobility, they're like, oh yeah, I need to stretch more. It's different. There's some overlap, but they are very different. Flexibility is the passive range of motion through a muscle. Mobility is the active range of motion through a joint. So flexibility would be like laying on your back and bringing one leg up and having somebody push it, right? Like your hamstring coming back. Like, how far can you go? That's flexibility. Mobility would be how far can you bring that leg back on your own? So mobility has a lot to do with the activation of muscle and making sure that muscles are in balance, that things aren't like your quadriceps are doing all the work and your hamstrings aren't doing any of the work, that type of thing. Mobility is super huge. There's lots of resources out there like MobWad, Becoming a Supple Leopard. Anything from Kelly Starrett is awesome. I would start there first. And that's also just got to be, you don't need to do it for long periods of time. But I mean, there's probably a point like right now while we're sitting on a live stream, I could easily cross my leg and just work on a glute stretch. I'm sitting in a chair all day. My glutes are totally turned off. That's not great. I could do a glute stretch and just kind of activate them by flexing my butt. You don't think that's going to do a lot, but for 5 or 10 minutes a day, that could save you some sciatica. So there's a quick couple of tips. Creative, we got like 12 BJJ schools within 30 minutes of driving. There you go. Yeah, consistency at 40 itself is a win. For sure. I've only got one, and I only have them every other week. And just that 1 week, man, it is way harder. Hats off to any of you parents out there. Jonathan, honestly, I'm trying to get past the soreness to keep a habit. I'm fine with running, but I haven't ran in a long time. I'm down to do the stationary bike or a real one. Yeah. This is where I would say if you're having a hard time just making it past that point and you are serious, I would say take the accountability completely off of your shoulders and put it on somebody else and invest into a coach. So the only thing you have to do is just show up and they take care of the rest. And do that long enough so that you can get over that hump. Whether that's going to a class or getting a personal trainer, etc. But I would say some face-to-face accountability could be really beneficial for you. Creative comment, showing up certainly is half of it, but recovery sleep feels more and more important. Absolutely. Sleep is a massive one. I did a video on this, kind of like sleep, nutrition, and activity. What's the most important? And overwhelmingly, people said sleep. I personally disagree. I think it's activity. I think activity is the one that you need to focus on more because generally activity improves the other things. But yeah, sleep, it's super hard. Or super important and super hard to get consistent sleep with a kid. Thanks for this live stream. Wishing the best for you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. K-Star is a legend for mobility. Yep. The fact that you know K-Star, Kelly Starrett, says a lot. FRC specialist locally has been great. Yep. Yeah, Kelly's a good dude. His book, Becoming a Supple Leopard, was kind of like life-changing for me. That started me down the whole mobility path. He's really good friends with my wife, and we got to hang out 2 years ago at the Go Ruck Games. It was kind of fun to talk to him about stuff. He's a good dude. Okay, 1:35. We have eclipsed that 5-minute. Listen, if you've got some more questions, I will field them, but if not, we can go. So if you do have one, let me know. Let me know. If not, I will just peace out and let you guys go about your lives and your day, which I hope is good. It doesn't look like we have any. So everybody, thanks for watching. Like I said, I know this was kind of a shit show at first, but those of you just joining, you missed all that. So congratulations. Maybe that's what made it fun for the half hour, the first half hour. Who knows? Anyway, guys, thanks for coming. Just to kind of give you a glimpse into what's happening over the next few weeks, we've got a new video coming out on Tuesday. I've got a special Thanksgiving edition one coming out on why you shouldn't play in the Turkey Bowl. That's going to be a fun video. A follow-up to some ice bath stuff. We're rebuilding the studio, which is going to be really cool. I got a sponsor for that one. It's going to look very different when we're done. And that's about it. I'm also working, since so many of you are camera people, so odd, that have found this live stream, just to let you know, I've got a really cool video coming about a camera that was very unique, that was sent to me to play with. Working on that video right now. I have a couple of fun cameos that are going to be in that video. That's going to take me a couple weeks to make, but other than that, that's what's on the horizon. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.